Okay, we continue. Siman Kuf Lamed Daled Hilchos Sukkah. So we're up to Sif Zion. So Ha'oisa Sukkos Etachas Anfei Ilan. Right? This is a major shaila. You take your sukkah and you put it under the branches of the tree. Harehi psula, it's puzzle. Right? And this doesn't make it. Let's see. Okay, well, let's finish. Even if it's just because of the branches, the sun would meaning if even just with the tree's branches, the sun would have more shade. I'm not the sun in the sukkah would still have more sun than shade. And with the schach that you're making is the sukkah, meaning basically saying is that you have a tree on top of the sukkah. The tree is not providing that much shade. Even with it being under the tree, there's still more sun than shade. So therefore you would need the schach. The kamakam psula, it's still puzzle, right? Because the way it is, we look at the tree, we look at it as we drop it down on top of the sukkah. And therefore, what's giving the sukkah its shade is a combination of the schach and the tree that's above. Right? And even if you cut off afterwards the trees, meaning you build your sukkah, and then you look up and you see that the trees there's a lot of branches from the trees. The sukkah is puzzle because tichsev chag sukkah tase lecha v'dashina tase v'loy mina asri. V'lochein la'achar shekatzas ha'anofim, after you cut down the branches, tzarach lu'lag bia kol anof min aschach, you need to pick up each and every branch of the schach, v'yachzer yinachel l'shem sukkah, and you have to put it down l'shem sukkah. Right? Because that's how you get rid of tase v'loy mina asri. Now, people do this, so they have the sukkah built all year, and they have roofs on top, so they move the schach. The schach has to really be moved. If you just pop it up, that's not enough. You have to really make it puzzle. You should not put up the schach before you put the walls. Because you need that when you put down the schach, the sukkah should be kosher. If you put the sukkah on roofs that are open, right? Like we said, like you make, people in there, some people have it in their houses. They just pull open the roof. You have to first open the roof and then put on the schach, meaning assuming you don't have the schach up there a whole year. First open the roof, then put the schach. Even though after that, before sukkahs, you're going to close the roof, and you go open it again. That doesn't cause any problems. That's just as if you spread out a sheet over the sukkah and take it back. But you should really try and make sure that at the night, this is an interesting chumrah. Those that have a shlak on their roof, on their sukkah, you should make sure, or try and make sure, that the shlak is not closed when by Ma'ariv time by sukkahs, and first night sukkahs. That the roof should be open well. And it should be equal with the walls of sukkah. Because if it's not shava, right, and it leans a little bit over the schach, even if it's not a big shear, that the sukkah would be puzzled with this. That you have to be careful that you should not sit in a place that the gag is leaning. Meaning you have to make sure your shlak is totally off the sukkah, ayin le'el sivav, because then you would maybe get into dofen akuma issues. Even though a sukkah is a temporary building, so it's part of mezuzah. But those sukkahs that are built, that they use them a whole year in the chayim mezuzah, gam b'chag lo nifteru, they're not potter in the chag, and you don't have to take it off and put it on again. Right? Fine. Test. You yotze with a borrowed sukkah, but loy b'sukkah gzula, not with a stolen sukkah. But l'chein also lost the sukkah b'shus harabim. You're not allowed to make a sukkah b'shus harabim b'shas atchak. B'shas atchak she'ein loy sukkah acheres b'shum oifen, that you don't have any sukkah yoshe ba mevarach aleh, then you could sit in there and you can make a bracha. Meaning, so those sukkahs like in Brooklyn that are on the streets, I don't know if they have permission, they don't have permission. And that's a whole issue with using it if it's in public property, really does belong to many people. So that's not so simple. Yud. Some say that a yid should not cut down a schach himself, and the yid should buy from somebody else. Why? Because there's a chashash that it was stolen. Right? Because meaning if somebody else steals it and then you take it from him, that's not considered stolen. You are allowed to cut it yourself. You should take reshus from the owner of the property. You are allowed to make a sukkah in chalamayid. This question, now that people travel a lot, the Airbnbs, etc., etc. So people want to know if they could put up their sukkahs. They're allowed to, right? But you can't do a maisa uman. That's one. And the question is taking it down, because taking it down, if you need it in another place, let's say you're traveling from one place to another, so then it's fine. But to take it down on sukkahs, that's not a tzarech yomtiv. So malacha sheloi l'tzarech yomtiv is a shtickle issue, and also those people that go upstate, they want to take down their sukkahs. They don't have to travel back up to upstate to go take down their sukkah. Fine, yud beis atzei sukkah, wood of the sukkah, b'mei avtonis b'mei aschach, whether they're from the walls or whether from the schach, aser b'hana, alachas simchas Torah, it's aser b'hana to left the simchas Torah, kivin shehuksel l'mitzvasa, it's huksel l'mitzvah. Afilu lito me'em kisim l'chlachsis shinav, aser, even to take a piece of wood to pick your teeth is aser. Afilu em naflu asor, even if they fall, it's aser b'lei ma'ani b'tanai, and it doesn't help it tonight. Now, this is also one of the biggest misunderstandings, because everybody hears that the wood on the schach, the wood on the walls is muksa. Muksa is not like muksa on Shabbos. Muksa on Shabbos, you can't move it. This muksa means it's huksal mitzvasa. That means if it falls down, you can pick it up and you can put it back up on Cholamayit at least. Right? On Yom Tov, you can also move it out of the way. It's not muksa in that sense. Right? For Shabbos, muksa means you can't move things. But for this, it's not huksa that you can't move it. It's huksa that it's for a mitzvah. That's where you can't take some of the wood and use it as a toothpick. Right, but you could take some of the wood and move it out of the way.
Or Yontif, on Shabbos Yontif, you could move it if it falls down.
100%.
Okay.
Unless it's an expensive thing that you didn't expect it to fall down, and maybe it's Muksal Shabbos.
And the decorations?
Same thing.
Same thing. Okay.
Yeah. If Shabbos, if Simchas falls on a Friday, it's also awesome. There you go. Naftali. Nois sukkah is also awesome. Afilu naflu, even if it falls down. Meaning, what it means, even if it falls down, you can't, let's say you have fruit, and it falls down, you can't go eat that fruit. Right? But you're allowed to move it. See, that's what we're saying. If, because it's also ba'ana, you're not allowed to move it because it's muksa, but it would still have the same dinim of muksa on Shabbos, which is if it would be a kli, then you're allowed to move a kli if you need the place, etc., all those things. So mikol makam, esrog atoli b'sukkah l'noi, but an esrog that's hanging from the sukkah for beauty, mutal l'riach, but you could smell it, l'loi huktzah meriach, because it's not huktzah from smelling. U'b'noi atoli b'schach, noigin shafilu t'nai lo mehani, and noi that's hanging from the schach, we're knowing that a ilu and a tanai doesn't help. Aval b'noi shatoli b'tfanis mahani tanai. But if it hangs from the walls, it makes a tanai.
The esrog, but you can't smell your esrog that you're using to shake.
Correct, because that's different. That's hooks the limits for the that you don't plan on smelling it. You lulav an esrog, but this one, that's what it's there for, right? I don't know if it's there for smell, but it's not. I mean, it's not out of your mind that that's what you would do. But then he says a chiddush that you can only make a tanai on the noise sukkah that's hanging from the schach, not from the wall. I'm sorry, the opposite. The wall, the Tanai helps for the wall, but not for the on the top of schach. Sadinim amitziyorim, and the sadinim, the sheets that have pictures on them, shetuliyim b'sukkah lenoi, that are totally in the sukkah lenoi, knowing letaltalon shalei yiskalkalim and min haksham. You see that you're allowed to move. You don't want it to get ruined from the rain. Even if you didn't make a Tanai. That's why you hung it up. That you, when it's going to rain, you're going to take them in. It's better to make a Tanai beferish. Dahainu kodim ben hashmashas harishan. Make a Tanai before the first ben hashmashas, meaning the first night. Sukkos yamid sham v'yamar ani masna she'muter lechol l'shtamish b'noy sukkah zu masay she'ertze. I can use whatever noise sukkah I want. Now it's interesting. His lashon is that you have to be in the sukkah. I don't know why you say me. Why can't you just be in shul and do it? He's saying, and if you have noise sukkah that you plan on taking down in the middle of Yom Tov because of rain, etc., then make sure you don't knot it tightly, because if you knot it tightly, then you might have a problem of untying knots on Yom Tov. Okay, that was a lot of information. But okay, we'll stop over there. Everybody should have a fine night, a good Shabbos.
And